the key story. So let me continue to break it down. Meta essentially here is spending like it's 2023 when scale was everything. But here's the rub. The pace of AI breakthroughs is slowing, and the market has already been shifting towards smaller, more efficient models. So even the name here, Behemoth, it feels out of step, and increasingly so does the pace of Meta's capex spend. Let me put it in perspective. $72 billion this year, and as a share of revenue is far more aggressive than even the hyperscalers, who at least have massive enterprise cloud businesses to backstop the spend. So the question for investors isn't just why Behemoth is late, but it's whether Meta's AI strategy is out of sync with where the real momentum is heading. Meta had no comment on the delay. Now, some of the most compelling models right now, they are getting smaller, cheaper, faster to run. OpenAI's GPT-4o, it's optimized for cost and real-time interaction. Google's lighter weight Gemini 2.0 Flash. You've got Chinese open source models from Alibaba and DeepSeek. They all follow that trend too, underscoring practicality over power. Now, Meta has released a few smaller Llama 3 models, but they came with controversy. The version that briefly topped AI leaderboards, it wasn't the same as the one that was shipped to the public. So Meta here isn't hitting either end of the market. It doesn't have a benchmark beating flagship, essentially what amounts to prestige in the AI race, nor does Llama have breakout adoption. And as the journal piece points out, 11 of the 14 researchers behind the original Llama paper, they are gone, raising questions about Meta's ability to maintain momentum in the key and only gaining traction open source AI race. There's also this question of monetization, guys. Open source gives Meta reach, but not necessarily revenue. So unlike an OpenAI or Google, which can monetize through subscriptions and cloud services, Meta's path to commercializing its AI models is much less clear. And by the way, Meta has not disclosed whether Behemoth will be open source or not. Now, what Meta does have, guys, though, is distribution. Few companies can push AI across messaging, social, hardware, VR at Meta's scale, but distribution only matters if the product delivers. This is something we've learned in the last few years. It's a key point for Google and Apple, too, which have those important upcoming developer events where, again, model size matters a lot less than it used to. What matters now is integration and adoption.
I was going to say, Dee, I mean, when you're spending $72 billion in capex this year alone, I mean, is this an issue, these harder gains in AI, that you can simply throw more money at?
Right. I mean, if you want the bigger model, which has been the race over the last few years, but if you want adoption, it's not clear that spending, billions of dollars on GPUs and infrastructure and cloud compute is what's really needed to win in this next phase. So we showed you that chart as well. I mean, it's just incredible. I come back to those numbers time and time again, that Meta, which does not have a cloud business, is spending more as a percentage of its revenue than even Microsoft, Google, and Amazon, which are hyperscalers. So I think it's going to be more difficult for Meta to justify that spend, especially now that its models are being delayed. This is what that spend was for, to get a behemoth out there.
I haven't really seen too much of an impact of this on the stock, Deirdre. It's down 1.5% today, I guess, in an up market. But is Wall Street concerned yet? Do you see it in the notes?
They are concerned, right? They want to see the return on investment. And actually, if you look at a 3-month chart, Meta's actually the worst performing Mag 7 along with Apple. So you are starting to see the cracks here. And I think these questions, I mean, we talk about it a ton here in the Bay Area and tech, how Llama's behind, how Meta, did a really good job in leading the open source race, but hasn't been able to keep up to the likes of DeepSeek or Alibaba's Qwen. So you might start to see that. And again, over the last 3 months, you do see some cracks showing.
Yeah, it's amazing how quickly some of these leads either fade or gain between some of these big players.
Yeah.
Dee, fascinating story. Deirdre Bosa this morning.